Stop right here. Because I know you feel overwhelmed by everything happening in the news right now, right? Are you finding yourself scrolling and reacting more than actually doing? What if the same mindset athletes use during March Madness is something we could apply to our everyday lives? If any of those struck even the tiniest of a nerve, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Education Evolution, and you're listening to Lifelong Learning. This is a podcast for the thinkers, the doers, and those who know that the most important lessons aren't always learned in school. I'm glad I caught you, and I'm glad that something called you to this virtual space today, even if that something is just the because I'm here to disrupt some of your habits today and to break the cycle of consumption. All the news alerts, the social media debates, the opinions are flying everywhere. I'm here to add a bit of a pause to that and reframe some things for ourselves so that life can feel, I don't know, more manageable. It's starting to feel like everything is urgent and everything requires your immediate attention. But one of the most important skills as adults that I think we can learn is how to filter the noise and focus on what actually matters. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. I'm your host, Lindsay, affectionately known as Miss Black. And this particular episode is for the curious minds, the constantly evolving, and those that proclaim to be lifelong learners. Before we jump in today, I want to let all you listeners know that the Education Evolution podcast is manifesting big growth. Our goal is to finally hit 500 YouTube subscribers so we can get one step closer to our bigger goal, which is to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. So I would ask that you subscribe to this channel, like the episode, or let us know in the comments how you think we could do things different or better. Growth is a community effort here at the Education Evolution Podcast, and we welcome it. Because it is the beginning of March, everywhere you look, people are talking about March. And if it hasn't happened yet, oh, you just wait. The buzzer beaters, okay? The Cinderella teams from universities you have never heard of, the underdogs knocking out the favorites. I will never forget March 2012 when Norfolk State and HBCU beat second seed Missouri by 2. I played basketball in high school. And at my high school, it's actually normal for us as students to leave class on extended bathroom break, okay? Sneak into the library to watch the game on the computer screen over somebody's shoulder. And I'll never forget how crazy the library went when they won. And so sorry to the librarian because she was a sweet, sweet lady. One thing I don't think people consider enough when watching these games, though, is that athletes playing in these games have spent years and years training their mindset for moments like that. They train for the pressure, for the chaos. They train to stay focused when thousands and thousands of people are screaming around them. And honestly, that mentality might be exactly what adults need right now. So today we're going to talk about it. The March Madness mentality. You see, I got my little Nike auntie set on today, so I'm ready. The March Madness mentality. 3 ways athletes stay focused during one of the most chaotic tournaments of the year. And how we can apply those same lessons to our everyday lives. And as someone who played basketball in high school, but up and through college, I can attest to the fact that these are the top 3 transferable skills I with me off the court for sure. Okay, so number 1, control the court. The first thing great teams understand is this: you cannot control everything happening in that arena. You cannot control the crowd. You damn sure can't control the referees. You cannot actually control what the other team is doing, but you can control how you decide to play. And I think a lot of us need to hear that right now because the modern technological world is built to keep us reacting. That's how they make the nannies reacting to the headlines, the social media posts, reacting to other people's opinions. But reacting is not the same thing as having impact. Listen, think about that, let it soak in. So here's a simple exercise I want you to try. Okay. You're going to take a piece of paper, you're going to draw 3 columns. Column number 1, you're going to list off the things you can control. So that's habits, your health, your quality of work, how you treat people. Okay. Column 2, that's going to be the things that you can influence. So, like your community, your conversations, the spaces you choose to show up in. And column three is what you need to release: the constant news cycle, scanning comments for juicy internet argument. Guilty. Things happening far outside of your ability to influence them. Most people spend a bulk of their energy in the column 3 and the things that we actually need to release. But the most effective people spend the majority of their energy in column 1, controlling the court. So that was a physical writing activity you can do with your friends, with your family, with your partner. Now, number 2 in the March mentality is turning down the crowd. If you've ever watched a March Madness game live, you know the arena's loud. The fans screaming, the bands playing. And shout out to the HBCU bands because they get down. People jumping out of their seats, but athletes train themselves to tune the crowd out and focus on the play. And honestly, we're living in a digital arena right now. The crowd is the social media, the crowd is the news cycle, the crowd is everyone's opinion on every single thing. And if you're not careful, the noise will control your attention. Am I right? I am right. So here's a mental filter that you can practice. When you come across a piece of information, I want you to ask yourself three questions. Does this directly affect my life or my community? Can I take meaningful action on it? And is this information helping me grow or is it just making me react? Because if the answer is no to all three of them, it might just be some noise. And the truth is, protecting your attention is one of the most powerful things that you can do in a world that profits. I said they profit from you being distracted. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is simply turn down the crowd. Oh my God, I'm having deja vu. That means, y'all, that means the message right here is strong. And I really hope that you take heed. Now, here's the last part of the March mentality: play the long game. Okay. Every tournament game feels urgent, but those moments are built on years and years of preparation. Okay. These athletes are spending hours in the gym, practicing plays. They are reviewing film. Ugh, that was always my favorite part, just to like review the film of the other team. And then you know exactly what their players are going to do. That was my favorite part. Success in the spotlight, it's usually going to come from the people that are working and doing the work that you don't actually see. And I think this is where a lot of adults get discouraged because social media shows us the highlight reel, right? But the real work of building a meaningful life happens very slowly, very intentionally. Like the real work that impacts communities takes time. So here's something I want you to try. Instead of asking, what can I change this week? Ask yourself, what could change in 5 years if I stayed consistent? I know it's a long time. It's pretty far out. Think ahead, but this is where the magic truly happens. Remember during COVID times, right? Scary times, we are all in the house. And I had a friend who was like, if I stretch every day and if I follow these like yoga routines, I could hit the splits by the end of COVID. And I'm like, yes, that's the thinking. What can I do right now in incremental amounts to be successful and see a huge return on my investment later on in a year, 3 years, 5 years? That's how we need to be thinking. So pick one area of your life. It could be your health, your finances, your relationships, and identify one habit you could commit to improving over time. Personally, I'm currently committed to making small adjustments, having a diet that is centered around my gut health. And I'm developing new micro habits to master the routines I need to maintain in the future to feel like I've accomplished this goal because the cold turkey cutting stuff out, it doesn't work at scale in the way that it might work for other people in my world. So, meaningful change in this case, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen through the small actions that I repeat consistently. But that's how the championships are built. And honestly, that's how lives are built too, for real. This episode was actually inspired from a conversation me and my co-host Jahad were having about our content essentially on here and if we should be talking more about the big things in the news. And what came out of that conversation is really that people are already experiencing an information overload. And we don't want to just add more think pieces for people. Y'all get enough of that. We want to add tangible action items to the game so that people feel prepared to win and not get lost in the noise. We aren't superhuman. We know how it feels to feel like we have no control and life is happening to us and not for us. But when you step back and apply this mindset of controlling the court, turning down the crowd, playing the long game, you realize that your impact actually grows when your focus gets a little smaller. When you focus on what's within your reach and then you invest in the people around you, and when you commit to the steady growth instead of constantly reacting to things, that's the March Madness mentality. If this episode made you pause and think about how you spend your attention, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Because learning isn't just about acquiring information, it's about applying it, adjusting how we move through the world in that application. I'm Lindsay Black. And if at any point this episode made you say, I could probably use that. Share it with somebody. Share it with somebody you know who might be feeling overwhelmed by everything happening right now because you know somebody who's feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes the smallest shift in perspective can change how someone approaches their entire day. Don't ever think that what you see doesn't matter, doesn't hold weight, or can't influence someone in your community. And if you happen to be watching on YouTube, drop your thoughts in the comments. Which of the three ideas resonated with you the most? Was it controlling the court, turning down the crowd, or playing the long game? And what is one thing you can start doing tomorrow to apply it? If you haven't already, subscribe and help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers so this conversation can keep growing. Until next time, you intelligent, beautiful, goal-oriented people, remember this, y'all. The world is loud right now. And honestly, the world might always be loud, okay? Might just start being loud about some other things. But your focus, that's something you always get to control, all right? So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye.